All right, class, as you know, we only have 2 weeks till winter break. And I'm feeling in such a great and holiday spirit-filled mood, I'm going to give each of you a gift. Yes, that's right. Mr. Downing is going to give each of you a wonderful gift. And guess what that gift is? Come a little closer. I'm going to tell you the secret to winning an argument with your parents every time. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. And you might say to yourself, well, why do I need that? Well, think about it. You got the holidays right around the corner. And I'm quite sure some of you will make an argument about why you need that new iPhone, the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, etc., etc. But let's say you say, well, Mr. Downing, I don't celebrate the holidays. Well, I know you have a birthday coming up, and I'm quite sure you're going to want a gift for your birthday. Now, the wonderful thing about this gift, it's not going to cost me a dime. I'm giving it to you absolutely free. The price that you have to pay for it is just paying attention to this video as we talk a little bit about how to make a strong argument and using claims in order to win an argument every single time. So let's take a look. So in order to make a strong argument, we're going to have to rely on some 21st century skills. We're going to use critical thinking. We're going to use effective listening, speaking, and writing skills to accomplish this task. Now, when we talk about an argument, what are we really talking about? In this format, we're looking at how to persuade others to agree with our point of view. How we're going to get them to actually not just agree with our point of view, but to accept our opinion, which then in turn is going to call them to do something, call them to action. So that's what we're going to do in this argument. So there are several different parts to this, and very shortly you're going to watch an animated video of an interaction between me and my daughter. My daughter wants an iPhone 6 for her not for her birthday, but for Christmas. And like mine, brand new, all the gadgets and everything else. But she's going to try to convince me that she should get a new phone because her phone, the screen is cracked. So she's going to make a claim in the video. So I want you to watch for that claim. It's her position that she's going to take on why she deserves an iPhone 6. Next, we're going to talk about evidence. Evidence helps us prove that our claim is legitimate so that the audience that you're writing to or that you're talking to will believe it. What facts, what information, what's the evidence that's going to help prove your point? And I want you to watch for that in the video. What evidence does my daughter provide that is convincing or will convince me that she should get an iPhone? So here's an example of some evidence. Look at it for a second and let's think about how credible this evidence is. So here it says that individuals with a 4-year college degree are about half as likely to be unemployed as those with only a high school diploma. So this evidence gives some credibility because it's done by the College Board. So it's providing evidence of why students that have a 4-year college degree are better off in terms of employment than those that don't. So just a little tidbit there. All right, so in the video, you're going to look at some reasons that my daughter gives about her claim. See if you can track those reasons and decide for yourself whether her reasons are valid or invalid. Next, we're going to look at some counter arguments. A counter argument is when you think about the other side of the issue. How do you argue against the claim? And does my daughter do that in a video? Does she consider the other issues that possibly may go against her initial claim of getting an iPhone? So I want you to think about it. If you go and ask your parents for an iPhone, what do you think they would say? How would they respond? In that moment, you need to know ahead of time what you're going to counter with what they are going to say. Now, sometimes counter arguments can give life to the argument and make them stronger, but in other instances, it could actually weaken your argument. So you want to make sure that your counter argument is very strong and that it further supports your claim. Also consider the audience and who you're talking to. Oftentimes, when you're talking to your parents, you might want to watch the tone, your word choice, how you say, the order in which you say it to make a very strong and appealing argument. Sometimes some things you say will turn an audience off and they might completely stop listening to your conversation. And I'm quite sure when you say things to your parents, it may have that impact as well. So take that in consideration and watch my daughter's word choice as you watch this animated video here shortly. All right, so before we move on, I'm going to pause the video and we're going to segue into the video I've been talking about the last few slides. It's called The Great iPhone Debate. So when you watch that video, see if you can identify the claim, some of the counterclaims, the evidence, and whether or not she makes a solid argument about getting an iPhone. So take a look and we'll come back and finish the rest of the video.
Dad.
Yes, 9.
You know, Dad, Christmas is only a few days away.
Yes, 9, I know. So what's your point?
Well, I need a new iPhone 6.
You need a new iPhone? Or you want the new iPhone?
I want a new iPhone.
So tell me why I should spend $600 on a new iPhone when you just cracked the screen on your old phone?
I knew you were going to say that.
So if you knew I was going to say that, you must have thought of some good reasons why I should buy you a new phone. I am quite sure you came up with some valid reasons. So go ahead and try to convince me that you should get a new phone.
Okay, well, I have been very responsible with my schoolwork and I made a principal's list. I've been cleaning up my room on a regular basis. I also empty the dishwasher all the time. I walk Titan, even when it's cold outside. Plus you won't be wasting money every month, because right now I can't use my phone, but you still pay the bill every month. So, if you buy me a new phone you won't be wasting money, but using it for something useful. And what else? Oh yeah, I also watched my little sister and little brother while you were watching the Surrey Redskins lose again, and you told me that was our little secret because you went to Buffalo Wild Wings and left me in charge while Mom was at work.
Okay, you've made your point. I'll think about it.
Don't think too long or I'll have to talk to Mom myself.
Fine, you win. You will have a small box under the tree this year, but you have to act surprised because your mother will kill me.
Yes. Not a problem, Dad. Merry Christmas, Dad.
Merry Christmas, Lucy.
Yikes. Did my daughter put me in a pickle? But it's okay. She made some really good arguments. She had her evidence. She had her counter arguments all laid out. Had no choice. Guess I'll be going to the Mac store to get that iPhone this year. All right, so now moving on, we're going to look at ways of making arguments in the 21st century. And there are various different ways to make arguments, and you're going to have to apply these in class as part of our in-class activity. All right, so one of the obvious ways is through a speech. So whether that's, you're running for class president or President Obama gives a speech, speeches are a good platform to present a claim, to make valid arguments, and they still happen today. Another one is through academic writing, which we will do, which we will do in class. So high school and colleges, they measure a lot of your success based on how well you write. So we're going to talk about how to write a persuasive essay, how to write an argumentative essay, and choosing a topic and a platform in which to do that. Using data, so we can make valid arguments through using numbers and graphs. Like my daughter made an argument about how much money I would spend versus how much money, I would save. So using data, using graphs can obviously make strong arguments. Also, images and icons. Images and icons create such a profound argument, and they really resonate with people because of the message that is inscribed within them. So obviously the Facebook symbol and the United States symbol, those things are automatically recognize, and we can probably think of a host of other images that create a compelling argument. Actions in terms of protests, they're also a form of argument. It's giving the people a voice, as we've seen recently in Ferguson, as with all the protests nationwide with the decisions around Eric Gardner and with what's happening in Ferguson. That is a form of argument, giving the people a voice. It can also be captured on short film, and it can be put in very powerful ways that we can see over and over again in the media. And it can also be spun in formats in different ways. Now, you also have workplace arguments. Now, these aren't your dragged out fisticuffs types arguments that we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is making a claim, making some sort of appeal through the email. So as you can see here, one person has proposed a new product to the management team. He's going to give his idea. He's probably going to state his reasons and his claims and his evidence, and so on and so forth. Also, during presentations, one of the tasks that you're going to be given is to make a presentation about your topic and to give some claims, some evidence that supports it. So companies are looking for problem solvers, thinkers, creators, and all of these things can be done in the form of an argument. Oftentimes, you have to be prepared to make these arguments to convince your colleagues or your classmates to make certain decisions, and you have to be ready and willing to have all those things laid out. So now we're going to segue this into our in-class activity in which you're going to make an argument based on a topic that you have selected. So before submitting or ending this video, rather, make sure you've answered all the questions at the bottom and be prepared to talk about arguments and any other questions or concerns you have. And we'll be applying this Think Circle model in our class discussions. So until next time, I hope you win every single argument with your parents. Just don't tell them I told you how.